Today I'm going to show you how you can make golf tracers like this for all your golf videos, full 18 holes as an absolute beginner, and it's completely free. I taught myself how to do this for my first outdoor golf video, and I gotta say, it worked out pretty well. And since I was an absolute beginner to this before my first video, I'm going to show you every single step, step by step. I'm going to make it so easy, even show you everything to press on your mouse. Like, it's going to be very straightforward. So first things first, you're going to want to get the program DaVinci Resolve. This is a very extensive editing software. There is a paid version, but there's also a free version. And we're just going to use the free version, nothing special about it, but you can do a lot with this. So basically, we're going to recreate this video right here. And I'm even going to show you how to mask out these palm trees in the background too. So first things first, you're going to open up a new project. Give it a title. This right here is your media pool. So you're going to right click and go to import media. We're going to get right into it, by the way, too. I mean, straight to the point. Scroll down, find yourself a video that you want to use. You'll want to change the project frame rate to match your video. So that's it there. And take your video, drag it down to your timeline right here. Just drag it and drop. Okay. Now I've got it right here. You can use the space bar to play and pause your video. You can also drag this cursor to move your timeline a little bit quicker. And what's really useful is you can use your arrow keys to move one frame at a time. So you'll see as the club starts moving here. Okay, I can go frame by frame with just my arrow keys, left and right. Left to go back, right to go forward. Alright, so to make the tracer, you're going to come on down here to this Fusion tab. Click on that, and this is going to come up. These are called nodes here at the bottom. Media in, media out. We're going to create a node right in the middle here. I have media in selected. We're going to hit this paint button. Now I have a node. You can right click on this if you want to rename it, because if you're doing an 18-hole video, it can get confusing if you have a ton of nodes showing up. So you can hit rename here. There's also shortcuts, but I don't know all of them yet. So this is hole 9 for me, so I'll do hole 9. Make it straightforward. So that way I can reference back to that if I need to. If you're just doing one shot at a time, you don't have to rename anything. Now, if you select this little black dot right here, see how it's going to turn white? And now I have two pictures. This is helpful because I'm going to be zooming in on this one here on the right to be more precise. And so then I can still see the full shot on this left side at the same time. Okay, so we added a paint, right? Now we're going to come on up here and we're going to select this little polyline stroke right here. Okay? Then I'm also going to hit this insert and modify. So now we've got a little plus sign symbol right here. Alright, now using your scroll wheel, if you're hovered over this image, it will go up and down. If you want to go left and right, you can click on your scroll wheel and drag. You can drag in any direction. If you hold down Control and use your scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. Okay? So basically, what we're going to do is make points to follow this ball right here. So we're going to start out typically trying to target towards the bottom of the ball. So I've placed my first point there. Now I'm going to come in here to the opacity, put it down to 0 so this doesn't get in our way for now, because that's going to be our tracer. And I'll show you exactly how to edit that. Okay, now you have to click off screen, so I usually click somewhere in here one time so that I can move frames with my arrow key. Oh, I wasn't actually at impact yet. Okay, so you find your impact position, my ball's still still. Now it's moving. This is right before impact. This is impact. The ball has moved. You can trace it if you'd like to. But since these are so close together, I won't trace this one. And I'll show you how quick you can move too. Click off screen, and then hit the right key, All right, we can click this one here. Towards the bottom of the ball, right in the middle. And go to the next one. Go here. I always click off screen. It just becomes habit. So in the beginning, it took me about 10-15 minutes to figure out how to do one. But now, I can pretty much do them in like 3 minutes per tracer. Maybe even quicker. And I've only done 9 holes worth of this so far. So you'll definitely get quicker at it if this is something you decide to do permanently. Okay. Now, technically, you don't have to trace every single frame. And so usually towards the beginning, I'll skip 2 or 3. So let's skip to 3 frames. Place another dot. Zoom out. Do 3 or 4. Doesn't really matter. We're just trying to be quick. The more you do trace, the more accurate it can be. Once you start to get towards the apex, I like to be a little bit more accurate and only do a couple of frames because you can see the ball starts to curve. So like I said, you can do as many or as few as you like. Now this was recorded in HD. 4K might be a little bit better, be a little bit more precise. As you're going to see, I'm going to lose the ball here pretty soon. Okay. You can see we kind of have our shape here of the curve. It's not super curved. What you can do, which I usually don't, is click on this and you can mess with the curve. But it doesn't always work perfectly. Now, if you accidentally make a point that you didn't want to make, you can always just hit Control Z to undo it. So I'm going to undo that curve as well. And then if I accidentally went too far, I can hit Control Y to redo a point. All right. So you can see we've got our apex here. And you can see it over on this left side. Obviously, because we're so zoomed in, it doesn't look very curved, but it's not a big deal. Trust me. Okay. We can still see the ball, but we are about to lose it. See it here. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's the ball. And you can also, before you click off screen, you can also move left and right if you want to move the point just a little bit. But I think it's really about over here. Okay. Whoops. I still kind of see it, but usually once you start to lose the ball, it's okay to just go ahead and guess for the end of it. Now, I'm pretty sure this does something like this, and we can use the arrows to move it in, make it a little nicer. I know that it goes through these palm trees here. Another way you can find the end of your shot is by zooming in, and usually you can see where the ball lands. Just press play, spacebar. I don't actually know where the ball lands here, but I know that it just barely goes through these trees here. So at this point, I might move with the arrow keys a little bit. So we're just barely going through these palm trees here. Okay. So basically, this is our tracer right here. So now we're going to actually make our trail, our ball trail. Open up these brush controls. Try to get ahead of myself. There are different shapes you can choose. This soft one right here works really well. You can also try the square, but I like soft a lot. So it defaults to soft. We're going to leave it on soft. The size, start with 0.01 and leave the softness at the default where it's at. Or you can move it around. It's not a huge deal. Okay. Once I put the opacity up, you're going to see a trail. That's our tracer. You can change the color. Everybody likes red. Don't know why. So we can go with red here. Alright, so this is our tracer here. Now, to actually make it trace the ball, you have to open up these stroke controls. See this right on? You have a start point and an end point. Follow me because it's not too difficult, but it might sound like it in the beginning. You're going to drag this all the way down here. Okay? So now the tracer disappears. Now we're going to drag our timeline here back to impact. Okay. So this isn't quite impact. This is impact here. So we can call this one impact, or we can call this one impact. It's not a huge deal. We'll call this impact right here. So this is a keyframe. You're going to click this diamond, and it's going to turn red. Okay? Follow me for a second, and it'll all make sense. Go to the next frame. You're going to drag this second circle right here until it reaches pretty much right where the ball is. I like to leave the ball just slightly exposed because you can actually follow the ball even with the tracer. They stay very close together. Okay, so we're going to scroll to the next point. I can see the ball's right up here. And we're really starting to form this tracer now. Alright. Now, in the beginning, just like before, you can skip a few frames. And I don't have to do it just where there was a point that we made. I can trace it to right here. Okay. Now, it depends on how accurate you want to be. You see how I'm kind of at an in-between? So I have this or this option right here. It's a little sensitive. If I don't like where this is at, I can change this end value. Let's say 0.335. Hit enter, and I like that value a little better. So you can be more precise if you want to actually type it in right there. So continue on to the next. We'll go, that's fine. We'll go there. We'll go, could be a little tricky at times. Now, when you get up to this curve, this part gets a little bit more important. Okay, so we're here. When you get up to the apex, you do want to be a little more precise. That's okay if I go past it now. You can click the scroll wheel to drag. I don't like this point. Make sure I click off screen because I adjusted a point, and I can use my arrow keys again. I'm doing 3 at a time. As precise as you can be up here towards the apex is important. Okay, I kind of lost the ball, so I'm going to turn this down a little bit. There it is. Okay. Now from here, and I'll put the opacity back up, I usually leave it somewhere around like 0.5 or a little bit more. It's nice to have that see-through effect a little bit. Okay. Now at the end, if you can't follow the ball down to the ground, you can kind of try to time it out. So I'm going to give you a little preview of the tracer. When you go back to the start, you can see these lines right here will show you the keyframes that you made. So it'll help you find impact. So you can see our tracer. Okay, we didn't finish it yet though. So we're going to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to try and time out about how long it would take for the ball to land. Maybe about there. I stopped it with the space bar. And we can go ahead and adjust this if it's wrong. So then you'll just take this and scroll all the rest of the way. See? So then I can come back and check it out. Let's see how accurate we were. It could have been a little long. So if I think it was too long and I want to bring it back a few frames, what I can do is right click on this keyframe down here and hit remove from right on group. So it removed that, right? It just undid what we did. And now I can go back a little bit. So let's say maybe I thought the ball landed around here. You can see how this moved, right? This is what frame we're on. And you can also see that here. Okay, now let's try that. That was a little quicker, seemed more realistic. Perfect, I like that. Go back down here to the bottom. We can go to edit. We can take a look at it without those dots. And there we go. We have a tracer. I can always go in and update some of these points if I want to make it a little more rounded or whatever. But honestly, it's pretty good. So let's take it a step further. If you want to be really precise, I can actually see that this should be going around these palm tree leaves. These ones here and these ones here. Alright? So we can create a mask that stays in front of the tracer so that this actually goes behind the tracer, just like in this example I did here. So to create a mask, we come over to this edit bar at the bottom here. And what we actually need to do is we need to add a second video here. So we're going to take the original video, we're going to throw it right on top. So now you won't be able to see our tracer. And that's because this video, the original, is on top of our tracer. If you reverse the order, you'll be able to see the tracer again. Right? But we're going to leave our new video right on top. See these little stars? That means the one we didn't edit on. Okay? So this is the original video on top, video 2. So we're going to come down here to the Colors tab. We got our video 2 highlighted. This is what we're working on here. Click on this icon, and this is going to allow us to make a bunch of points and mask off our palm tree. Now this set of leaves and this set of leaves are what were in the way. Now other trees are going to be a lot easier. This is going to be a more difficult one, but a little bit more complex, but just to show you how well this can actually work. You can also do other shapes, like if it was something that was circular or a square, if you wanted it to be really basic, you could just mask off the whole tree really quickly, but we're going to use this one here because we can use multiple points. So I'm going to zoom in pretty close, and we're going to start this here, trying to only outline these leaves. It gets a little tricky for sure. You can make as many points as you want. The only important thing is that you have to connect them all at the end. So I'll speed this up. Okay, I have that first set done. And so I'm pretty sure my tracer comes somewhere in through here. So these ones are not a bother. So I can just skip all the way down to here. Continue our shape. And I'm going to keep going until we're done. Okay, so I went much quicker on that second set, and we'll see if there's any kind of difference. So now I'm just basically trying to square this off. So this is the only part that's important to actually mask off on this tree, because that's where our tracer is going to be going. So we're going to connect it. Now the whole thing is connected. Now the only last thing we have to do is right click over here and hit add alpha output and connect this to this. Just click and drag right there. And so now if I come back here, we have a layer of our mask right in here sitting on top of our tracer video. So what should happen is if I play this tracer, it should mask off that area. And I'll zoom in and we'll take a look at it. And that's exactly what happened. Obviously this is a much more difficult one, just because, you know, those were a little bit out of focus and a little bit difficult to do. But if your video is stationary, that mask works really, really well. Okay. Now last thing you want to do, if this is an 18-hole video and you want to cut down the length of this tracer so that it ends and you could do another one, you're just going to want to come back into the Fusion tab where we were originally. And I'm not sure why, but when I do this, it only selects the video that's on the top. So I don't see my old node from before. So usually I come back over here and either shorten this masked video and put myself on a spot on the timeline where I only have my tracer, and now the node is visible, or you can just reverse the order of the videos so that the tracer is on top, and then when you come back to the Fusion tab, your tracer node is going to be right here, hole 9. Okay? Very, very easy to change the timeline. Select keyframes at the top here, and you're going to see hole 9 with a number on the inside, 1589. That's where our tracer ends right now. If I want the tracer to end right here because the scene is ending, let's say, right there, 1516, I'll just zoom in by holding down on Control and scrolling. You can also use this little tab scroll to get really precise numbers. See, that was a little bit, okay. So this red line shows you where we are. I'm trying to drag it right to here, 1516. So now, once we get past this point, and I'll play the video, our tracer disappears. So let me put this tracer video back where it was, where it's supposed to be. We'll play this one more time. And right around here somewhere, our tracer is just going to disappear. Towards the end. There it is. And that's it. If you're going to continue on and do more videos, let's say your next tracer started here. You're going to go... I can also end this mask at any point because I don't want that to carry over to the next scene. So I can shorten this mask basically to just wherever the tracer is. It's not a huge deal. Since it's overlapping, it's not a huge deal. Now let's say my next tracer started right here. I'm just come back into the Fusion tab, select Media In again, and we're just going to click on Paint again, and now we have another new node. And I can just go through the same process, click on the polyline stroke, insert and modify, and just start doing my next points, and I have another tracer that appears. Boom, boom, boom. We have two different nodes. They're independent of each other. This one starts right here because that's where I started it at. And you can do this for a whole 9, 18-hole video, whatever. But it's even easier if you're just doing one shot at a time. Now when you're done, Just come over here to quick export at the top. Save it somewhere. And that's it, you guys. It does seem like a lot, but I was moving at snail speed to show you guys what to do, because I swear, like I said, the first ones took me about 15 minutes, and then after that, we were speeding through them. 3 minutes, 5 minutes if I had something complex going on. But it's a great way to make tracers absolutely for free, and there's so much more to do with this software too, but this is a great way to do it if you don't want to pay for a monthly shot tracer, because I just don't make that many outdoor videos as of right now, so it doesn't make sense for me to invest in it. And this way I'm being very precise. Those shot tracers, they still take a lot of time to actually make your tracers. So this really doesn't take much more time, and in fact it's probably pretty similar if you get good at it. But that's just the way that I figured out how to make tracers on DaVinci Resolve. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Hopefully it was thorough enough for you, because like I said, I am a beginner, so I tried to go nice and slow because I'm still learning myself too.